for the username is that we provide your name and hyphen your target application, target system. So if you're working for Bosch company, then you'll have to provide a name such as Nagarjuna-Bosch. Or if you're working for
Okay.
Ferrari, Nagarjuna-Ferrari as a username.
Oh,
So that's recommended so that you know which login you are currently working on, for
okay.
which company you're currently working on, in case
Okay.
you do handle multiple accounts. So go to
Okay.
access
Okay.
management.
Access management. Okay.
Select the runtime manager under subscriptions.
Okay. Yeah.
Now look at the screen and tell me some of the information that you see here. What
So yeah.
you will see for trial account and what you will see for an enterprise licensed account.
Okay. So if you see the trial account, there is no production vCores available. It's 0.
Right.
So and also load balancer also is 0. They have given one sandbox, and we have one designer environment, like environment for one designing, and there is no VPC. VPC is also available for trial account.
So what is the license component in this, and what is available as along with the base subscription or a platinum subscription?
Oh, you were telling about these PDF documents on MuleSoft site.
This one, correct. So this is a
Okay,
document.
okay.
So you can compare the gold edition to a platinum edition and see what the difference is. So API
Okay.
Manager DLB does not come with a platinum subscription. Okay, API Manager has to be bought separately. So API Manager does not come with the gold edition or platinum edition. It has to be purchased separately. Anypoint
Okay.
NQ is also same, and the dedicated load balancer is also same. You have to purchase it separately.
Okay.
Go back to your trial account.
Okay. So those are the 3 things we need to purchase extra.
If there is a need.
If there is a need. So, but definitely dedicated load balancer will be, most of the people will purchase, right? Forget, I mean, maybe
In
MQ is
case
optional.
you have a client-facing application or an API endpoint, only in that case, or if you have high volumes of transaction coming in, only in that case.
Sorry, Vishnu, one
Or
second.
so vCores will be given to you in a 2x4 configuration. That's the one that you will get with a platinum subscription. And any additional vCores that you need, you'll have to purchase that. So with a vCore of 2 in prod environment, what is the maximum number of applications that you can deploy for prod?
With two vCores.
Correct.
I think I think minimum requirement for deployment of application is like 0.5 vCore, 0.1 vCore or something.
Correct.
500 MB.
So 2 divided by 0.1. How much is that?
4 applications.
No. It is 20
Sorry,
applications.
0.2. Yeah, 20 applications, correct. Yeah, 20.
So if you have that deployed in a high availability mode, wherein the workers are more than 1, and if you want a reliable configuration, then you should at least keep the workers as 2.
Okay.
Right. So more than one means it is at least minimum of 2. So 20 applications divided by 2, you can deploy 10 applications into prod in high availability mode. Or reliable.
Two vCores. High availability. Kind of 2 instances. 10.
Right.
Okay.
It's like you have a broker running on 2 different servers.
Okay, like 0304 nodes, different nodes.
Correct. Next, you can create as many environments as you want using the sandbox vCore. But the maximum that you can deploy, the application will be for a 4-core non-prod environment, the maximum will be 40 applications.
For non-prod.
So if you have development environment and quality environment for non-prod with 4 cores available, how many applications can you deploy to development?
Right, 40. 4 core means like 40 applications we can deploy.
No, I asked only for development environment.
Okay, only for development. Okay, in only for development environment, because we have test environment also, right?
Right.
So 2020.
Correct. If the number of environments increases, so let's say that you have a dev, QA, and pre-prod.
Okay.
Then how many applications?
It will like 4 divided by 3. 4 vCores divided by 3.
40 applications divided by 3 environments.
3 environments.
As the number of environments increases, your core utilization also increases, or the application that you can deploy will reduce.
Okay.
Now regarding load balancers. So a dedicated load balancer is only required if the customer has one of these 3 needs. So the need number 1 is open a notepad document. I'll tell you the 3 different use cases in which a dedicated load balancer is required. Open notepad ++ or something like that.
Yeah.
So the first use case, if they have a vanity domain, right? Vanity domain.
If they have
vanity domain, for example,
vanity domain.
VANITY, vanity domain.
Yeah.
So if SBI has their own domain names, fully qualified domain names, something like SBI.com, and they want to make use of that SBI.com endpoint so that the customers will trust them. So the person who is a human user will look at that SBI.com and not assume that it is a threat.
Okay.
So in order to give the human user a level of confidence, we will use a dedicated load balancer, because we want SBI.com domain and we want to use SBI.com certificates.
Okay.
All right. So if you don't use a dedicated load balancer, you cannot use SBI.com. What you will get instead? CloudHub.io.
Okay.
If you don't have a dedicated load balancer, you will have a CloudHub.io domain, which is common to almost all the organizations.
Okay. Whenever we deploy in trial account also, we'll get this only CloudHub.io.
Right. So the second reason for using a DLB is if you have a high number of transactions. 1 million transactions is the limit, I believe. That has to be checked. You can research that in a document somewhere. If you have high transactions, then you will have to switch from a shared load balancer to a dedicated load balancer.
More than, let's say, more than 1 million. I'm putting
some number like that.
Some number.
I don't know the exact number, but some number like that.
Okay.
So the third use case is if you have to validate the client certificate as well by using a two-way handshake.
Okay, to validate client certs,
Using
okay,
two-way SSL and
handshake.
two-way SSL handshake.
2 SL, okay.
Yeah. These are three conditions in which DLB is used in most organizations.
Okay, maybe I need to check this. Maybe 1 billion transaction per day, I think it's. Okay, I will check that.
All right. So go back to the trial account.
Yeah.
So static IPs. I think you will get 2 static IPs with 2 vCore configuration. If you want more, then you'll have to purchase additionally.
Okay, static IPs. Okay.
And you will get 2 VPC how many is that? Yeah, 2 VPCs with 2 vCore. If you want additional VPC, you'll have to purchase additionally.
Okay, but as per best practices, better to have non-prod one VPC, production one VPC. That's what I read.
Correct.
So minimum two VPCs required.
If you want to keep the non-prod environment dev and QA separated from each other, then you will need more than 2.
Okay.
If you want to create one VPC for each environment, you will need more than 2.
Okay.
And the 2 VPCs, what you get will come with 4 VPN.
4 VPNs for each 4 VPN, a total 4.
Total 4. So
two.
Two. Right. The reason is you can configure VPNs in such a way that even if one goes down, the other is available to serve the data. And in case you have to do any maintenance work for one tunnel or one VPN, the other is still available.
Yeah.
So recently, I believe somewhere in September, there was a VPN upgrade, and we had to bring down the VPN. So that was if you don't want to have any downtime, then you will need to use both the VPNs for one VPC. You have to configure it in high availability. If you want zero downtime, you have to configure more than one VPN.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to the next question. So what was that?
Next question. Let's say we have in our case, let's think about only services. Whatever we did migrated around 110 or some services, right? So initially, let's say we did 50 services migration. So it depends on whatever that service complexity. We need to increase vCores, right? So let's say if I'm creating an API which is having 10-20 resources, example. So in such scenario, maybe we need to go for more cores, 2 vCores or 3 vCores.
If you are using a Cloud Hub environment, you cannot keep on consuming more vCores because it is costly. Every vCore is some AWS EC2 instance.
EC2 instance, okay.
So you have to be economical in the way that you use it. So either you will have to go for a hybrid configuration if your interfaces are high.
Okay.
Or create as we create integration or execution groups, server.
Yeah.
EGs in case of IIB by using the target system name.
Okay.
One execution group will be used for one target system, isn't it? And within that one execution group will deploy multiple APIs or applications. right?
Application.
So
Yeah.
that one execution group can be considered as one EC2 instance or 0.1 vCore in case of a MuleSoft.
Okay, 0.1 vCore is nothing but one EC2 instance.
Right. A micro instance.
Okay, okay. 0.1 vCore is like one EC2 instance.
Right.
But in production, with 0.1 vCore, how much RAM will get? But in dev will get,
500 MB. 500
same
MB.
500 MB. Okay. Okay, okay. So if, okay, let's say in your, okay, we have in production like, four, we'll get four, right? In production.
vCores, huh?
Yeah, two fours.
2 cross 4. So 2 in
2
prod
plus 4.
and 4 in non-prod.
Okay.
With Platinum subscription, you'll get 2 vCores in prod and 4 in non-prod.
Okay, with gold we'll get, okay, 2
Same.
production cores. Okay. 4 pre-production, 4 design vCores. So in production only you'll get 2 only then.
Correct.
Okay, in that case, as you said, high availability, we can run only 10 applications.
Right. 10 execution groups only. 10 target system
Okay,
connected.
10 target systems. But the thing is, as you said, okay, let's say in our case, 10 EGs we have. In each EG, we are deploying, like 10 APIs or 5 APIs. But the available RAM is only 500 MB. That is where we'll get the problem. So if we want to increase, so okay, I'm just putting a question here. There is a horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. So horizontal scaling in this case is nothing but what? Adding vCores?
Workers.
Workers, yeah, that thing. Worker is nothing but what here in this? vCore is like, kind of, as you said, it's
That is
EC2
vertical
instance.
scaling. Increasing the vCore will be increasing the vertical scaling.
Oh, increasing vCore is vertical. Okay.
0.1 to 0.2, let's say you change it. That is vertical
Yeah.
scaling and you will get 1 GB RAM.
1 GB RAM, okay. But
And
horizontal
if
is?
Horizontal is you will increase the number of EC2 instances from 1 to 3, for example.
Okay, EC2 instances. Yeah, that's what I'm just a little bit confusing here. 0.1 vCore is nothing but a part of one EC2 instance.
Correct.
Okay, let's say okay, let's allocate 0.1 vCore for one EG with 500 MB. So that will create dedicated EC2 instance with 500 MB RAM. If we add one more vCore, the same EC2 only, but one more vCore will be added.
Open Notepad.
Okay.
It's getting confusing. Open
Yeah.
Notepad.
So
now vertical scaling, horizontal scaling. Write 2 sections like that, separated by a few lines of white space.
Horizontal. Okay.
Okay, and in vertical, write worker size.
Worker size.
Is equal to 0.1 vCore.
Okay, 0.1.
Okay, let's write 0.2 vCore because minimum is 0.1, and if you want to increase that, you will increase it to 0.2. Okay,
0.2.
and in case of horizontal vCore, write workers with a S, plural.
Oh, workers
is equal to 2.
Okay.
So in case of horizontal scaling, you're increasing the number of servers or laptops that are connected to serve that data. Okay. And in case of increasing the vertical scaling, it is increasing the RAM and the CPU capability. It is one server and that capacity of the server is increased by increasing the RAM.
Okay, 2 EC2 servers. I'm here.
Right.
1 EC2 server with 2 vCores. Okay, yeah. Okay, now I got it.
Now we'll talk about the deployment model. So deployment model, the different options that you have are all on cloud. Everything you will deploy, all your applications will be on the cloud. And second one, all your applications will be on running on on-prem systems. And the third one is a hybrid model.
On-prem.
Everything on-prem.
Great. So in our case, maybe it'd be better to go for on-prem.
Because we have lots of APIs,
yeah,
it makes sense to go for an on-prem model.
Yeah.
So what is the difficulty that you will face with an on-prem model? What are the disadvantages of using an on-prem model?
On-prem model, in sense, we need to maintain the environment.
Correct. You'll have to keep that
environment
server available,
maintenance,
and you'll have to manage the runtime version. The version upgrades will have to be done manually.
One second, runtime maintenance.
If you have version number 4.2 and you want to increase it to 4.3,
version upgrades.
Correct. That will be a manual task.
Okay. And servers maintenance.
You will not have zero downtime.
Yeah.
If you want to have zero downtime, it is a difficult task for the DevOps engineer.
Okay. Okay.
But it is available in CloudHub environment for free.
Okay. So in on-prem, can't we manage like IIB? We are having like 2 nodes, right? Can we manage?
Yeah, we can. So that is what I said.
Okay.
The work of a DevOps engineer becomes difficult.
Okay.
The DevOps engineer has to plan accordingly and make one server, deploy to one server and keep the other one running, and use a load balancer. Then the traffic should go to one server alone. Afterwards, deploy the changes to the other server. Then route all the traffic to both the servers. Like this. If you want zero downtime, we have to manage these tasks.
Okay. So like whatever we are doing currently, so we are deploying all our AV applications in 2 instances, 0304.
But with downtime. That downtime could be very less.
Very less, very minimal.
Minimal downtime. So less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
But it is not zero.
But it's not zero, correct only, yeah.
But in CloudHub environment, you have zero downtime.
Okay. Maybe we'll go for, like IIB only. So we'll expect, 2 to 3 minutes downtime when deploying the applications.
Right.
Okay. 2 or 3 minutes downtime. While deployment. Okay.
Runtime plane, and the second column is a control plane.
Runtime plane, control plane.
Right. Second column, control plane.
Okay.
All right. So if the runtime plane is available in CloudHub,
okay,
and the control right CloudHub on row number 2, CH.
Okay, shortcut. Okay, CloudHub.
And control plane is also on CloudHub, CH.
Okay.
Next, let's write control plane. Runtime plane is on-prem, OP.
OP.
And control plane is CH.
Okay.
Next, OP, and OP for the control plane as well.
Okay.
So What do we call row number 2 as? What is the deployment model in row number 2?
Everything is like Cloud Hub only.
So that's cloud, right? Completely cloud.
Completely cloud.
What's row number 3?
Row number 3 is completely on-prem.
No. That's hybrid.
Okay. Oh, OP hybrid.
No. Row number 3.
Oh, sorry. I thought row number. Yeah, this is yeah. It is OP and CH is a hybrid only. Yeah.
Hybrid.
Yeah,
Right.
hybrid.
Next, row number 4 is completely on-prem. And that completely on-prem is used only in rare situations if you are working in a banking domain or if you're working in a country where it says that even the metadata should not be transferred through the internet to some other country.
Okay.
Only in that case you will use OP.
Okay.
And that's a private cloud edition PCE configuration.
Okay. So in our case, we need to go for a hybrid.
Right, hybrid.
Okay. So if it is hybrid, I have a few queries. So in hybrid, if let's say in production we will get 2-week course for production in cloud. Okay, so in cloud we'll deploy whatever customer facing applications or something like that only. Remaining all applications will be deployed in on-prem. Is it how it will happen?
In hybrid, again, you are talking about a split of
Split.
Of 80-20. For example, 80 applications in on-prem and 20 applications in cloud.
Cloud Hub.
Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Next, split is 100-0.
Okay.
All your applications are on-prem. 0 applications are there in Cloud Hub.
Okay.
That's also possible.
Okay. In that case, the usage of Cloud Hub is only for maintaining the runtime.
Yeah, you will have access to the control plane only, and all your runtimes will be on-prem.
On-prem, but controlling will be from Cloud Hub.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll go for second option, hybrid only, like this.
Let's
that is suitable for our
tomorrow. I have to drop off
Okay,
from the
sure.
call now.